he doesn't speak English, so he can't tell us to stop. At Changyegong Palace, the royal family used to live here. Full kosher shop. Very interesting. Good evening or good morning, it's 1:30 here at Haneda Airport, and we are flying off to Seoul, South Korea. No, not North Korea. You can't fly into North Korea, but yeah, South Korea. Oh no, we're back to the mass days. So flying to South Korea with Peach Air. Never been on this airline. Definitely an interesting name for an airline. If any of you have been on this airline, let me know. A few minutes from landing in South Korea. Sleeping the flight. Absolutely exhausted. Feels like we just landed in Tel Aviv. The amount of people just jumped up to their seats. Just filling out some COVID forms. Feels like we're going back 3 years to COVID days. Most countries in the world have dropped all their COVID requirements. Not in South Korea. Filling out forms, paperwork, QR codes. We lost our case 2 days ago from our flight from Paris to Osaka, Japan, and we're supposed to find it over here. So we're going to try and find the Air France customer service desk, and hopefully they can give us a lead where our case is at. So the Air France desk is another terminal, so we need to take a train there, which we have to pay to get a train from one terminal to the other. So we found some Air France office. Unfortunately, it's just operational, and they can't help us. Okay, we're here at the check-in desk, and let's see if they can find our case. Speaking to one manager to the other manager of Air France, none of them could help us. So we need to call customer service in the morning. Just hope I get my case. I'm starting to run out of clothes, which I have in my backpack. So yeah. So we're gonna take a taxi now to a hotel, sleep a bit, and then tomorrow we're gonna start touring Seoul, South Korea. Interesting laws about South Korea. Number one is that you're not allowed to have tattoos. Number two is you can't smoke in public. And number three is that most gambling is forbidden. The Chabad restaurant very kindly wrapped us our leftover food. So in the back of the taxi at 8 o'clock in the morning, stuck in traffic, eating some noodles. Didn't have any utensils, but so good when you're hungry. I'm not sure you're allowed to eat in the back of the taxi, but he doesn't speak English, so he can't tell us to stop. Just arrived in a hotel in South Korea, and we are pleasantly surprised by our suitcase. Bunch of tags, it's been half the way around the world. I'm so glad I can change into some fresh clothing, got a bit of food. Baruch Hashem. Wednesday afternoon here in Seoul, South Korea. I think there's some protests going on behind me. This is hilarious how they do a protest with music. Wow, this is brilliant. Loads of riot police behind me, just in case. This is what I call peaceful protest. I'm not exactly sure what the protest behind me is all about, but there's only ladies there, I think only one man, so it's probably something to do with women's rights and equality. Behind me is a typical Korean building with a very interesting slanted roofs, and the reason why it's designed like this, I'm not an architect, but I believe it's something to do with making the snow a lot easier to fall off it. These specific buildings belongs to some emperor from 150 years ago. I'm gonna look inside.
This is how a king lives.
Purpose of his hat.
Behind me, this is the dress of the king and queen. Very interesting. Definitely think the English and the Americans could really learn how to run a protest. How formal, how beautiful. Wherever you go, they have this music. Sounds like ice cream truck music. Because of the ongoing conflicts between North Korea and South Korea, here in the metro station, they have a whole cupboard full of gas masks. In case of a nuclear attack or something, at least a few people could be saved with these gas masks. In the metro station, there's a fruit shop, and no one works here. You choose what you want, you go to the counter, you pay and you walk out. I guess the South Koreans are very trustworthy that they'll have such a system here. Some of the famous things for South Korea is their music, known as K-pop. They have bands which are famous around the world, one being Blackpink and the other one being BTS. Behind me is a statue of Lee Sang-jae. Thanks to him, he worked on getting independence for Korea. Just arrived at Changgyeong Palace. I think that's how you pronounce it. I love these unique style buildings.
Never destroyed. This is original.
Wow. How old is this bridge? How old's that?
1483. Over 500 years old one.
Oh wow.
Never destroyed. In front of us, you see embedded stone, but they were not original. They were used only for special things. Actually, this middle one was reserved on justice. They have horn. This is horn.
What's it called, this animal?
Pardon? Haechi.
Haechi.
Haechi. H-A-E-C-H-I. Pardon?
They still like.
Oh, nowadays no.
No?
Anyway, so special day. I have to see you again in spring season, okay? The wooden tablet, they were enshrined in this building. Like this for pleasure boarding. If it's two more, behind the tree there is a...
Just had an hour tour which explained all about this complex, which used to be the royal family used to live here. We explained all the different designs, the meanings behind it, and all the rules and the way they used to live. It used to be that women weren't allowed to leave the palace, leave the house. They just had to stay here. They couldn't go out anywhere, so they had like gardens to walk around to keep them sane. Like one of the buildings has a slight different design to the others, and that was because that's where the royal kids were born, and they didn't want bad spirits to come down or something. Really fascinating what they believe here. You have one of the kings on the banknote with the moon and the sun, and behind the throne, if you can see there, there's the moon and the sun as well.
Maybe from there you can hold.
Okay, cool. Now just get to me then.
Yes, I think we'll... So the Korean and Japanese cultures are very different. In Japan, they're a lot more friendly, but they seem very robotic. They seem like they're programmed just to be nice. They're not very real. Over here, they're much more real people. Not as friendly, but they're quite nice as well. The most advanced subway system in the world here in South Korea. The most advanced subway system in the world here in South Korea. Heading to Chabad of Seoul to get some supper. Just arrived at Chabad here in Seoul. Absolutely freezing, that's why I have my hood up. It's like -5 degrees Celsius. When you arrive at Chabad house, you forget which country you're in. You feel like you're back in Eretz Yisrael or something. Quite amazing. Here in the Chabad house, they have a full kosher shop. Quite a lot of stock of different stuff. We will buy some stuff, stock up on a bit of more food. And even more impressive, they have a small winery here as well. Trying a Korean dip here.
For me, how you respond?
Interesting, very interesting.
You want some wine?
Not doing the food review, but I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Absolutely delicious food. Bit of Korean style in it as well.
We are soldiers. We are going where we are needed. If it's here or wherever it will be. If we start ask questions,
It'll never happen.
kosher milk there or kosher pita, then. Why the Jewish people from all the nations receive such a merit to be?
All this is real food. They put chemicals. Up there, it's real sugar.
And of course there's some K-pop on at the moment. Heading to the hotel for an early night's sleep, because tomorrow early morning I have something very exciting planned.